What's woofing you woofers? Welcome! I got the special episode for you, and it's basically a re-upload of my old episode, but then again, it's not a re-upload because it's a remake with a lot of edits and a few changes, some updates, and basically just more streamlined. And I also try to talk a little more clear so you guys can understand me better. It's pretty understand, it's alright. So yeah, welcome. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to teach you how to set up your ARK to be very, very single player friendly. And well, basically the best single player settings I can think of after like over 300 or 500 actually hours of playing single player on the ARK and a lot of changes. I got the experience to actually tell you what to do and the single player settings just to get the perfect settings ready for you. And I'm gonna do it right away, and I hope you guys will enjoy. But first, if you're new to this channel, become a member of the FLOOF Pack by subscribing, and also don't forget to feed the FLOOF! Feed the FLOOF! You can feed the FLOOF by hitting the like button. Make it a FAT-ASS-FLOOFy. FLOOF becomes fat, it'll explode one day. And oh my beerus! Pause! There's pause in the roof! Anyway, let's get right into it.
Did you pick something up, Artemis?
Computer findings point to yes.
So this is the title screen, and I'm gonna do this step by step just in case if you are brand new to the game and don't even know what to do whatsoever, then I will be just showing you off how to get there, what to do, and well, what settings to use. So, first things first, this is the PC version as of November of 2017. If you have a console version or a later version that was patched or whatever, things might change, who knows, right? Console version, as far as I know, is pretty much the same thing, a part of one little option that is not available for consoles, but I'm gonna tell you exactly which one that is as soon as we get there. So, let's just begin. Yes. Now, first off, we got our menu here. We gotta go to Host, Local. And here, basically, everything we need to do is pretty much in here. We have the General tab, the Advanced tab. That's where our most of our changes will be in. And we also got the mod settings here, which we will be talking about later as well. So, just so I can go through these with all you guys together, I'm going to reset my rules with this Restore Default Settings button here. It will restore General as well as Advanced, so keep that in mind. Just click here and everything will be reset to its standard settings that ARK will provide you after installation. So, let's begin just from top to bottom. First things first, first part, we got difficulty level. Well, what you want to do is to put your difficulty level up to 1.0. Just take the slider and pull it all the way to the right. You could even go higher by just inputting a manual number, and you will see the slider disappear. But we just want to go to 1.0. The game will just generally set you to 0.2, but we want to go to 1.0 because 1.0 is a pretty good starting point for pretty much any ARK fan or ARK player, casual player, as dinos will spawn anywhere between level 1 and 200. So that's a pretty good place. There's a higher chance to get below level 100 spawns, but there's also high level spawns. They're just rare, but that just makes it pretty fair, pretty even, especially with how your character will be built up. So yeah, 1.0 pretty good for a pretty vanilla standard setting ARK. Yes, 1.0 is the way to go. After this, you can actually skip a few points, and anytime we will skip, I'm just going to scroll down and tell you what to do next. For the next thing will be XP multiplier. So what you want to do, here's a slider, it goes all the way up to 3, but you want to go and put in 2.0. You don't want to go all the way to the right to the 3.0. 2.0 is pretty good, you get double XP, which makes sense. But it still will take you a while to get to max level, so that's pretty much what you want to do here. 2.0, as far as I can tell, by my experience, 2.0 is very good for leveling up your character in a good amount of time, of playtime, as well as not making it too over the top, so 2.0 is the way to go. Next up is Taming Speed. Taming Speed in Standard is at 1.0. What you want to do is not just take the slider all the way to the right, no. We'll just go to 3.0 max. You want to go in here and type in 10.0. Some people state 8.0 is a little more balanced, but I would say after hundreds of hours of playtime, 10.0 in my opinion is the best standard setting. What this does is basically whenever you want to tame a dinosaur, as soon as you get it on the ground, it basically it speeds up the interval between it eating or how much taming progress it will get per feeding. And you won't be sitting around forever with a 10.0 setting. Basically, you don't want to in a casual single-player setting, you don't want to be sitting around 6 hours just to tame a low-level T-Rex. No sir, no thanks. Just go for 10.0 and it will make a medium-low, let's say level 30 T-Rex tame, and to turn it into a pretty much 30-minute mini-game, which is in my opinion pretty fair for a T-Rex, low-level T-Rex. Of course, things like raptors will tame pretty quick, but you still have the progress of pretty much actually getting them to the ground and pretty much enabling them to be fed. So that's still there. That's not influenced in any way. It's just the time that they need to get their taming progress to the max. Also 10.0, I had it higher in the beginning, but 10.0 is pretty good, and you will still keep a lot of the other taming mini-games. For example, when you hop on a horse, you need to ride it for a while before you can actually tame it, or basically petting hyenas. Those mini games will still be in there. You're still forced to do it a few times in a row, at least for medium level I mean creatures, like for level 30, level 50, whatever. Of course, low level ones, level 10, level 20, they might actually be tamed one shot, but that still makes sense. I mean, they are low level and they should be easy to tame, right? So taming speed 10.0 is the way to go. Next up is scrolling down a little bit, you will find Dino Character Food Drain. This one's a pretty simple fix. It says 1.0 in standard. Just type in 0.33, or 0.30 would be okay as well, but whatever, I do with 0.33 just to make it basically a third. What this is, if you play single player, you sometimes play with friends, of course, since you can also do the host non-dedicated session, which will allow friends to join, up to 3 friends. But since it's mostly single player, you might actually end up having a lot of bases around the map, a lot of pets as well. And those pets will eat, and they will starve to death at one point. But while it still takes a pretty long time for them to starve, you still want to put 0.33 here, just to make it 3 times that duration. Since it will still be pretty good. I've had it that I went back to a very old base and found my old raptor or whatever, and he was like almost dead. He would have been dead for a long time if I didn't notice, but you can't always do that, especially in single player, to be everywhere pretty much, especially if you have a lot of tames. So 0.33 is the way to be.
Yes.
Next up, if you scroll down just a tiny bit, you find non-dedicated host tether distance. I made a separate video about this one. What this does, it allows your friends that join your host, your non-dedicated session, to move a part of you or away from you for a certain distance. Usually they would rubber band back to you, but by not only pushing this all the way to the right, no, by actually inputting manually 99.0, not higher, not lower, not 99.9, not 100, not 1,000, not a million, 99.0, 99.0. By inputting this number, your friends will be able to get as far away from your position as they want to. So you want to do this, you just want to input it. Even if you don't, even if you play single player, just have this just in case. You never know if you want to invite a friend or if someone joins you. So this is pretty good. And this is also that one thing that, as far as I can tell, some console versions or older versions do not have. So if you can't find this in your settings, it's probably because you're on console. Although they might patch it in or whatever. So keep that in mind. And like I said, I made a separate video for this with proof that it actually works. So check that video out if you haven't already. And yeah, that's pretty much the way to go. And finally, we got all these different things here with check markers. Now I'm going to go through all of these just real quick and tell you which ones to activate and which ones to deactivate, just to keep a good, pretty much very good single player experience for yourself. And that's what you want, right? You just want a very good single player experience, perhaps with some of your friends, and so I'm going to tell you what to do. So, allow third-person camera. Just keep it on. It's on standard. This is a standard setting right now. We will change a few of these, but yeah, this one's on and it should stay on. That's pretty good. Enable global voice chat. No, it doesn't matter. Enable proximity text chat. Doesn't matter. Notify player left. Just check this. If you play on non-dedicated session, if you play with friends, this will actually tell you whenever your friends leave. So it's just a good thing to know. It's not necessary, whatever, just check mark it, and pretty good. Notify player joint is checked already. Admin logging. It's disabled, doesn't matter, just leave it disabled. Enable crosshair. Now this one's a doozy. Actually, it's enabled on default, but trust me on this one, just disable it. Because what it does, it basically gives you a crosshair throughout your gameplay for all your weapons and for your standard actions. But it actually takes away a little of the realism and a little of the adventurous fun. of the game, and it makes a few mechanics way too easy. For example, using different bows, using aim tools, you can actually craft during gameplay. You make it easier for yourself to aim with those weapons, or by using a bow for a lot, you actually learn how to aim with that bow. You get good with the weapon. If you just enable crosshair, this will make it just way too easy to use those, and it kind of takes away a little of the feeling of the good feeling, the feeling of accomplishment to actually get good with the weapons, with the actual aim. So just take it away, just disable it. I don't even know why many servers have it enabled. It's kind of stupid. So just trust me on this one and disable the crosshair. Now, force no HUD, disabled, whatever. Disable loot crates, no. Hardcore mode, no. PvE mode, no. Disable friendly fire, no. Show map player location, no. Don't checkmark this. Thing is, it would show you on your map wherever you are, but also same idea pretty much. It would pretty much render some compasses and other items useless that would usually tell you where you are. So yeah, just don't use this one. No tribute downloads, no, it doesn't matter. Maximum difficulty, also keep this disabled, doesn't matter. Enable PvP Gamma. This one's enabled in base, but you want to disable this one. Yes, trust me on this one. You've probably heard it, or you might have heard it. People saying, oh, at night, just use the Gamma cheat. Well, it's exactly that. It's a cheat. So what people do in our official servers, especially since official servers usually have this enabled for whatever reason, I don't know why, basically people could cheat and increase their gamma so they have basically night vision at all times. And that's kind of stupid because the night in the game is, well, it's a mechanic, it's a feature. It's the scary part of the game, and I love it. So why the hell would you want to cheat? I mean, sure, some people want to cheat, but keep this disabled just to ignore it, to keep your temptation away. Use the actual flashlights and other items that make night vision a viable thing instead of just cheating. So disable this, and also if your friends join, they can't use it, so nobody has an advantage. That's pretty good. Keep this one disabled. If you have a server, disable this as well. Just do it. Trust me on this one. Use single player settings. Yes, keep this one on. Pretty good. It changes a slight few things. And it gives you way more engram points, and since you're in single player, you do want to have more engram points to actually unlock everything over time as you reach level 100 or higher. Hint hint. But yes, just leave this one on. It's on general, so that's pretty good. Use corpse locator. Yes, it's basically just a simpler way, a slightly easier way to find your dead corpse if you die, to get it back and get your stuff back. It pretty much is a Dark Souls mode, so just why not? I don't see it why it would be broken or whatever. So I did use a mod for this way back when it wasn't enabled, so just keep it on. Pretty good and very useful and not broken. Disable structure placement collision, no. Allow multiple platform floors, no. Allow unlimited respecs. Now, allow unlimited respecs, yes. Check this one. Give it a check. What it does is basically there's a food item you can craft in the game which will allow you to basically re-level up. It will allow you to change whatever stats you leveled up. If you decide to go for health instead of stamina in the end, you can craft that food or find it and just eat it, and you can restat yourself basically. Also, it will give you your engram points back for a new choice. So that's a pretty good item. If you have it disabled, you could only use that item once per level. So that means if you reach max level and you use it once, you won't be able to use it ever again. So just have this checked, and you can reuse it as often as you like. If you think your stats are shitty and you want different set of stats, just craft that food, and you are good to go. I mean, the food is pretty good. It's good, hard enough to craft to make it fair, so that's pretty good, and it's not game breaking or whatever. It's just a respec. Here's a little thing. There's actually a bug in the game. If you created your character pre-enabling this one, or I think it was a patch or whatever. Essentially, if your character is older than a certain patch version or was created while this one was deactivated, then your character, even if you check this one, will still not be able to respec. So basically, do this before you create your character, so your character is able to respec. I don't know why it's like that, but it happens. It happened to me. My character cannot respec because she's too old, but now you know. And disable down taming, disable down riding, doesn't matter, so that's pretty good. And we're done with general settings.
Excellent!
Yes, let's move over to advanced.
No way.
Now over here in advanced, there's actually just tiny few things, tiny few things we want to do. And I'm going to show you exactly which one of these. So most of these things you'll just keep as they are. It doesn't really affect anything. So you just want to scroll all the way down to where world settings begins. And it says disable imprint down above. That doesn't matter, keep it disabled. And allow any one baby imprint cuddle. What you want to do is just check this. Basically, whenever you get a baby dino, only you would be able to actually cuddle with it or get it imprinted to basically have better stats when it grows up. And by enabling this, your friends that join your single player can also do it. So if you want to just have a little party with your friends, invite them over and just get some babies going, then this is the option when you want to go for it. It doesn't break the game or anything, at least for a single player. So yeah, just give this one a good check. And then we got one more thing. Scrolling down all the way, well, not all the way, but about halfway, we can find no resource radius players and no resource radius structures. Now I just found out about this recently, but this one's actually pretty useful. What you would want to do here, for no resource radius players, you want to go and push it all the way to the right to 6.0. You could go higher manually, of course, but just put it to 6.0. I'm going to tell you what it does in a sec. And for no resource radius structures, just go in here, push it to 3.0, or just manually do it 3. There you go. So 6 for players and 3 for structures. Now what it does, it's pretty simple. Have you ever noticed that when you just collect a tree or chop down a tree, and you just walk around a corner, just look away, and you look back, and suddenly it's back, it respawned?
Nani?
Well, that's because your respawn radius around your player and your structures is pretty low. Especially also if you build a building, sometimes a tree randomly spawns back inside your building. So that's kind of weird. So what this does is basically it disallows respawns in a certain radius around your player or your structures. Now, putting it for structures to 3.0 basically just prevents any trees or whatever or rocks that you destroyed or trees that you chopped down to respawn inside your friggin' buildings you built. Because 1.0 sometimes is a little iffy. 2.0 also, so just have it on 3.0. That's pretty good. Don't go any higher though, otherwise sometimes you need to go pretty far to find more resources if you actually collected everything around your base. But 3.0, at least put it at 3.0 so you can get that bug fixed. Let's call it a bug. And for players, put it on 6.0 because you will be moving around way more, of course, than your base would. And it just makes it a little more realistic for you to have to actually leave an area completely and come back to have resources respawned. Then you just walk around the corner or just stroll around a mountain and just find all the resources to be back there. And that's kind of weird. So yeah, 6.0 is what you want to do. Gives it a little more realism. And it kind of makes more sense, at least to me, in my gameplay. So 6.0 for players, 3.0 for structures. And that's pretty much it. No other changes applied to advanced or general. There was just 3 changes to advanced, a few changes to general, but I think this is pretty good. I've played around with the game for several hundred hours, basically doing single player because single player is pretty much almost the only thing I play. I also invite my friends a lot, or they play and they invite me, but we all use the pretty much exact same settings. They use the settings I set up. So, and this is pretty much what we think is very balanced, very good, and very fun. And now there's just one more thing we need to talk about, which is mods. Now, basically, I'm not trying to tell you which mods you should not use or whatever, but I'm just telling you what in my experience, for a very roleplay heavy, story-driven, vanilla-based player that has a lot of fun in single player, would use for mods. So, there's basically 3 mods I really implore you to add. One of them is not that necessary, but the others you should actually do. So, if you have the PC Steam version through Steam, you can find these mods with the exact names that are listed right here. If you use consoles, I'm not entirely sure. If you know how to get these, let me know in the comment section below, or let other viewers know by putting it in the comment section. So let's get a discussion going there. For the not so necessary one, we got Pet Manager. Pet Manager basically allows you to create pet parties with your tames. So it will also allow you to see their life points, their health points, and as well allow you to find or relocate lost pets if you ever lose them, or they for some reason run off into the distance and you can't seem to find them, but they're still alive. So it allows you to basically find them. It doesn't really break the game unless you overuse it, pretty much, the finding ability. But yeah, as long as you casually use it and you mainly use it to keep your eyes on the health bars of your pets, that's pretty good. That's pretty useful, and I think that's a balanced mod to have. And also you can unstuck your pets if they get stuck somewhere, so that's pretty good. And next one, we got Realism Giga Tweak. Now basically any Giga Tweak or Giga Balancing mod would be good, but I tested out all of them that were available at this time, and the Realism Giga Tweak was the best one in my opinion. What it does is it balances the friggin' damn nasty Giganotosaurus. Giganotosaurus. A lot of people call it Gigantosaurus, but it's actually Giganotosaurus. So, yeah, that creature's pretty much in the wild, unkillable, and a friggin' beast. And if you tame it, it's kind of a lot weaker, and it's so weird. What this does is basically it shrinks it down. It's already twice the size of a T-Rex, and this mod basically shrinks down to 1.5 the size of a T-Rex, which is way closer to its original counterpart, you know, back then, in the Stone Age. But it also makes it weaker. It's still very powerful. Its attack power is extreme, over the roof, but it balances its health, its torpidity, and its stamina. So this mod, really recommend using it if you ever ever intend to tame one of those beasts in single player and still not break the game for yourself. I mean, I got one tamed, and it does break the game, so I love the mod. Very good mod. And the other one is Loot Sense. Well, Loot Sense is pretty simple. There's a lot of loot crate mods on the net. I tried a lot of them. Previously I used Freeze Loot Crate or something. Now I use Loot Sense. Loot Sense is the best one. It makes the most sense. What it does, basically those alien crates that appear every now and then that have a lot of useful stuff in there. Usually they should have, but they often have just crap. And Loot Sense basically patches this out and fixes it, and so they would actually drop what they should drop. It's not broken. It gives you a lot of engrams. It also gives you like good items, but it mostly gives you engrams or a little ammo, something that is actually quite useful to get, but not broken. So Loot Sense, very good mod. All these free mods recommended. Get those for your single player story mode, and they won't break your game. They won't unvanilla it if you want. And that's pretty good. So I'm just gonna activate these, and there we go. And now we pretty much got the entire settings, just how I would always use it in my single player adventures, and how I think is the most balanced, most fun, and most accessible way to play ARK Survival Evolved in single player. Yes. Oh, I didn't see you there. So I hope you enjoyed this one. There's way more ARK videos coming up. I'm actually working on a shit ton of ARK videos and some tutorials and stuff like that as well. Although tutorials might not be the main focus of my channel, I just tutorials of anything that I think is pretty useful to know. And so yeah. So if you enjoy content like this, become a member of the FLOOF Pack by subscribing. Also don't forget to feed the FLOOF! Feed the FLOOF! You can feed the FLOOF by hitting the like button. Make it a FAT-ASS-FLOOF. If FLOOF becomes fat, will explode one day. Yes! So yeah, thanks for watching, and hopefully this was useful. As I said before, can't string it a knot, but yeah. See you next time, hopefully, and Fox out.